Welcome to the end of an era on the Isle. Our beloved Type H creatures have been removed from the game entirely. An update was rolled out a couple days ago, and the update changed the original version of the Isle. You can still find them in the game files of the Isle, but as far as in-game goes, we may never see them again for a very long time. As many of you know, they made a statement last month acknowledging the ongoing hacking issues in Legacy, and they've decided to resolve those issues. Those hacking issues being people using teleport hacks and grow hacks, people accessing Type H creatures when they should not be playable. I am also guilty of this. A lot of things broke, and a lot of people are giving them flack over what's broken, and well, it's things you wouldn't expect. Unfortunately, people are overlooking the true problem of why the Isle is being recreated for Reddit likes. And most likely, you and I don't appreciate the bugs that are coming into Legacy when they try to update it when they could be working on the new version of the game, but these bugs only point towards the credibility and the foundation when they came forward and said they need to remake the game. You see, much of the problem with the Isle and Legacy in general is that they couldn't update this version of the game anymore. They couldn't do anything with this version of the game. They never intended to, they never wanted to, that was just it. They wanted to recreate the game. Why was that? Well, the reason is because of what you're seeing now. They didn't want to update Legacy for the simple fact that when they updated Legacy, anything they did created a bug. There was no rhyme, no reason, no nothing. It just created a bug for no reason. Our Rex's bite, every single update, would have its bite marker, where the jaw is and where it would hit with the jaw. Yeah, well, that would be changed and that would be moved every single time there was an update, and the developers wouldn't touch it. It's just how the game was coded prior to anything else. Like this lighting change that we just went through and everything that happened then, that could literally be caused from fixing the bug with the Trike's animation. Not even kidding. There was no rhyme or reason. It is such a busted game. When you try to update it as a developer, it's almost frightening to try and do anything with this game. So what did they do? Well, they decided they wanted to make the updated version of the Isle. They wanted to do it right and make sure they had competent members of the community working on it rather than what they had previously. On the bright side, we have the Dryo back, and it does its whole burrow thing, so that's all good. It's not as smooth as it used to be, though. I did notice that. I kind of just teleports into existence, and then, well, it's been a really long time since I've actually messed around with the burrows in the Isle, but at least we can appear in here. We kind of just like zoom in. We're like Ant-Man just growing inside a weird burrow. Oh, and it still shows the model. Oh, what was that? Okay, but it still shows the model under the map, and then the burrow is like right there. So that's huh? What? Where'd my burrow go? What? Okay. Oh, I went out of the game world, so the game registered me as pretty well dead. So it deleted it. Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense. And I think that's how people used to crash the servers too. They used to, I think, they would have one player stay in the burrow, and if you stayed in the burrow and it disappeared, it crashed the server or something like that. I'm not even sure, to be honest with you. I just know what used to crash the servers here. I've got some stuff to talk with you about besides what's been happening in Legacy, and this is, I've got a lot to talk to you about, and it involves the new version of the Isle, the updated version of the Isle, because we have things to look at. It looks like they're gearing up to release a big update. There's also a big rumor going around, and that rumor is, well, they may be working on the brand new Type H creatures in the background while they update everything else. On top of that, well, we have these two beautiful bad boys right here to speak about too. I was looking at an old hard drive the other day, and I actually came across these two concepts that were saved to that drive. I don't actually remember how I got these, and I don't think I've spoken with you about them either. But I did want to take a moment and speak with them because I do see that there is a Tapwing signature on this one right here, and I'm not sure what they are. They look, well, this one looks like it's a Neuro strain. I don't think it's a Tisso. And again, with the signature of Tapwing, and it looks authentic as well. I assume that this was at some point released to the world, maybe during my hiatus away from the Isle, because I recently changed over my drives too, but regardless, you can see that if this is the Neuro concept for what appears to be a Giganotosaurus and not the Rex, because we've all seen the TypeN Rex. We have the TypeN Spino in game already. We had a whole herd of those a while ago, actually, on one of the hacked Chinese servers that no longer exists. I think it doesn't exist anymore. But anyways, the new concept on the Neuro is kind of interesting because they have these dangly bits hanging down off of them. It reminds me of the Type D Giga, actually. A creature that we're having created for our game servers is Lanicta. Its mouth can open unnaturally wide. It has smaller teeth, it appears, than the normal Giga counterpart, but it doesn't really share the same similarities of the updated version of the Giga, so I'm kind of wondering if this is gonna get reworked again. There's not much more we actually know about this creature. There's not much more we can see about it, unfortunately, but we do have another one, and that's gonna be the Neuro Rex, I think, as well, because of the bioluminescent stuff that you can see, or the squiggly lines. The Spino shares the same characteristic, and that's why I'm making the assumption that this is a Neuro strain, obviously. The Spino has that very apparent weird squiggly line thing, whatever, that glows, and well, this does too. You can also see the T-Rex's tongue has like a barbed spike, so I assume it's kind of like Catbug's gif of, hey, want to see something cool or whatever, or want to see me eat some, whatever it is. Anyway, it's cool. I love that you made that. But moving on, so damn cool. You can see the spiked tongue is there. The teeth are smaller. They seem more brittle. It's obviously not a creature that's meant to go up against like a Type H or even a normal Tyrannosaurus Rex, because the skin looks like it's been transformed into some kind of membrane and less leathery, more, you know, I could probably scrape your skin off with a spatula. There's not too much more telling about this creature right now. And this is attached to the signed concept as well with Tapwing signature. If to me, it looks authentic. If Tapwing could reach out to me, if you become aware of the Tapwing, if you could reach out to me and confirm whether or not this is actually real, I would appreciate it. But otherwise, it has the same Type D Giga type of stuff, and the D Giga, it's not an actual creature made by the Isle dev team. Again, just to be clear with you, this is a side project, a mod thing that's being made independently. But it has that drooping skin again, and it almost looks like it's wasting away, but and it has no eyes. Neither of them have eyes, actually. Wait, no, I think the Giga has an eye, I think, but the Rex has no eye. That's interesting. I'm kind of curious, or maybe that's where the eye would have been. Oh well, regardless, that's what I had to show you on these creatures, because I'm not aware of these guys being around right now. I haven't seen anything on the updated version of the Isle about it, but anyways, let's move on. You poor little guy. He gets up and skitters off. Look at him. So what you're seeing right now is actually update number 2. Quality Assurance is currently working on making sure that this is going to be bug-free for us to enjoy when the update is released and put into our hands. This is a preview as well at the updated Karno's RAM ability, basically, and this Dryo learns firsthand just what happens when you're in this thing's path. You can see it plumps over right here, and it gets back up real quick, takes off, and the Karno starts chasing it again. It's a really cool mechanic. I'm actually really glad to see this in the game, and I can't wait to get our hands on it, which, again, should be pretty soon. From what I've been hearing, it's going to be this month. But like I said, they have a lot of bugs they need to go down through and make sure that, well, we're not going to have a buggy mess of a game when we get our hands on this. This is a perfect example of what I mean, too, with the buggy mess and the quality assurance stuff. You can see the Karno's actually carrying a fairly sizable piece of meat, but the Stego kind of just trailed behind it as well. So this is the stuff that the quality assurance team is trying to make sure, you know, they're doing the whole quality part of their assurance part. We got a couple teasers as well of the updated Karno for the update that's coming out soon. This is the friendly call. That is a lot of jittering in the throat. I actually don't like that. That looks really awkward. Like, it looks like a jiggling nutsack. And I hate to use that as an example, or like Oh my god, I'm so sorry for anyone that's watching this then. Oh no. Terrible analogy. Oh god. You get the idea. I like the animation otherwise, but the whole neck thing is kind of weird. And obviously the sound is a little bit out of loop because it's just playing it constantly. Now we take a look at its updated broadcast. Full body animation still. Wow, it really reaches up there. Look at that. He's changing a light bulb. He's like doing the worm too. Look at that. Look at the little arms going. Look at those tiny little things. They're adorable. Looks really fluid. It's almost a little bit too much though, because you can see right here the texture as a result of stretching the model out so far seems like it gets a little bit messed up. Like right here, you can see it just gets really stretched out and really awkward. But I mean, otherwise, I think it looks good. It looks like it tries to balance on its tail a bit too. I like that little bit. Super nice. The neck is jiggling. It's really weird. But I like, this is probably work in progress too, but that is really weird. The neck just doing that right there is, that's probably got to be fixed. Otherwise, cool. Oh my god, I have so much stuff to go down through with you guys. This is the new wallow animation for the Karno. So he does the whole squat down and rolling over on his sides. All right. Oh, okay. He really just flops down there. He just doesn't care if he breaks a rib or not. Gets back up. All right. So it's a fairly, I mean, it's what you'd expect. He just goes over on each side, really stretches out. Seems like he doesn't go over as much on the left side as he does on the right. On the right side, he really just jaggedly flops over. You can actually see that right here. Let me just see. I'm going to try and freeze it. Okay, yeah, so that's actually pretty smooth. It just happens really quickly. There is custom animation there. It doesn't just, like, teleport down and flop. Overall, it looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty good. I mean, other than this section right here, the leg's kind of wonky. It gets a little bit wonky around right here. But I mean, otherwise, yeah, you can see the leg goes into the model too. But like, there's only so much you can do with these creatures too in the animations. But otherwise, animation looks really, really nice. I actually really like this. I think this is pretty well nailed down to what you would expect if a Karno was to roll around in mud. And now we move into Anki Bad Animal. They're actually remaking the Ankylosaurus for the Isle, which I'm actually really surprised by this one. And this was announced a while ago, so many of you probably already know about it. But I'm actually really surprised because the Anki was a bad animal and, you know, all that stuff basically. It was a meme, and then it became a witch hunt for one of their developers, I think. And yeah. Yeah, it was that. But anyway, that's a big story I don't want to get into. It was dumb. Ultimately, it was just so damn dumb. But regardless, Anki, gonna be cool. I actually really want to see this thing in game. I just hope that they add some kind of special mechanic for all that armor on its back. You got some interesting concepts as well by Tapwing, which, comparing the signatures of Tapwing here to the previous, they do look like they match pretty well, in my opinion at least, but it's also a digital art representation, so things could have been changed. But anyways, Karno has some concepts here. You can see on the bottom has the headbutt concept, has the laying down with a child concept, something about it scratching its horns against a tree as well. I'm assuming that's going to be a behavior we could use. The size of it compared to what appears to be an Ostroraptor or Herrera. The Karno over right here, I'm not sure what it's doing. It's chasing a galley. There's a Karno in the background, and then the Iguanodons as well. Gonna have to zoom this out a little bit. The Iguanodons as well, obviously, aren't something you want to try and tussle with, but the Karno can get it from behind. Now, this is actual in-game stuff from QA, and this was shared, I think, yesterday, actually. They had a huge info dump, but this is the Hypixelion and doing its own thing. Obviously, a QA tester playing as this creature for the next update, which we get these creatures for the next update and all of these mechanics. We get to play as the Karno, we get the Hypixelion, we get all that cool stuff. Moving on, we got another picture of the Carnotaurus from the QA build. People are playing it again. It seems like it is in a playable state as well. And moving on, now we have the Stegosaurus. And the Stegosaurus has a life cycle where you can see an adult Stego right here. And then the juvenile, which is absolutely gorgeous. You are so precious and you are so adorable. You have the whole world ahead of you, and you're going to have a beautiful tail that has a wicked impale attack. Oh, it's going to be so adorably terrifying. But this is two people obviously doing the nesting and all of that stuff, as well as the Stego. I'm assuming
we have to do the whole start out as a baby Stego, log in, and then, you know, you grow. I don't think they're going to have nesting in just yet, but we'll have to wait and see. Here's another really nice picture of the Stego. I do notice that right here, it seems like the scales are a little bit weird, but I almost feel like this image is sharpened. That's what it looks like to me to show off the scale detail. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but regardless, it looks great. I think it looks really good. And then there's a baby Stego right there. Look at the little guy with his little tip bottle tail. Look at that little nipples on the back of his tail. Look at that little adorable tyke. You adore. I would pinch the cheeks off of that. You are so cute. Look at this little guy. He's got a little smile and everything. God, I can't wait to play the Stego, especially with its new ability to impale creatures. If you don't know what that is or you haven't seen it, I think I actually showed you guys in my last Isle video. You'd have to go and see for yourself. I think I did, though. Then you got two Karnos. It appears that one Karno and the other one, this one may be a juvenile or a sub-adult Karno, and then you have the full adult Karno behind that. Obviously, it's a huge size difference as far as the Karnos go, which is to be expected, because, you know, sub-adult and adult. I am noticing as well on this sub-adult, if this is a sub-adult, it has a much lighter pigment in its skin than in the top one with all its heavy pigment. You got a Karno gonna destroy that Dryo. Poor little guy. Not gonna have the Burrows in this update. Not gonna have anything to save yourself, actually. But that looks menacing. I love that. It looks like it's getting ready to do the ram attack as well. We got another picture of the Stego, and we actually have two more Stegos in different life cycle stages. So you have a true baby, and then you have one that has grown. It's grown a little bit more than it, but it's still nowhere near the adult size, obviously. But still, it's showing that there is a growth cycle in the game now, and there's also sleeping as well, as you can see. That also moves into this one as well. Another picture of the Stego with its tail and all that stuff. Got the Hypixelion again being played as. Another one of it running around. You got another one. This one's up in a tree. Can it climb? What? This one's up in a tree. How did that happen? I'm doing me confused. And then finally, the Karno. Its teeth look really damn good, actually. I do wish they were a little bit more pointed, because they look a little bit like... you know the teeth on an alligator game? You push on the tooth and you put it down and they're rounded. That's what its teeth remind me of, which is kind of different. And I would also expect them not to be like perfectly white. I would expect the teeth to have like, well, you know, like tart buildup and like plaque and stuff. You know, some yellowing, maybe a damaged tooth and stuff. That'd be kind of cool. I saved the best for last, and I haven't even seen this one yet. This is the Hypixelion blind mechanic. So this is the first time I'm actually ever going to see this as well, because I literally just found it. I didn't know that it was a thing. So let me go ahead and we're going to do the whole play thing and see what happens with this. So it's obviously a developer playing on the same session twice. You got a Hypixelion here, and then that's the other side or other screen of the developer doing replication for the multiplayer, checking that out. So you can see there's a hit marker as well, where it's going to be effective. Anywhere else on the body obviously isn't, but the face, it's going to be effective because it's a blind mechanic, obviously. So he's going to do that. What is it, like green or something? Or like just mess up his... Wait, what? Wait, what? What? I mean, it's a work in... It's a work in progress. So, I mean, that's kind of, I guess, what you'd expect. The general idea is there. And then the Karno, you know, wipes its face off. So it has a custom animation for that, too. I would really hope that that black screen that we get instantly isn't what we would have ultimately, and we'd have like a blurred vision instead, like a heavily blurred vision that would make it easier for the Hypixelion to get away. But I would really hope it's not going to be this black screen. I would assume it's not. This is probably the work in progress, you know, like, hey, we have the mechanic working, now we just need to do the polish and fine details and all that stuff. Otherwise, really cool. It's really the first true mechanic besides the Utah's Broken Pounce. It's really the first special ability we're getting to see in the Isle, I believe. Well, besides the Hypospino being able to run things over and kill them with trample damage, but that in itself is a completely different beast. And Hypos are gone now, so... Anyways, friends, that is it for now on everything I have to show you with the Isle. Goodbye to our Type H friends. someday we will see them, but I anticipate that not being for a very long time. To my knowledge, they've completely fixed the issues with the Chinese servers that are hacking, impersonating other game servers, and the hypos, to my knowledge, are fixed as well and no longer something you can access. I think you need to use an old version of the Isle now and, you know, do some weird backdating stuff. Anyways, guys, that is it for now on everything I have to show you. Thank you for checking out the video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it informative, or you saw something brand new that you haven't seen from other creators covered thus far. Leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Think about subscribing. It's a click and you get to hear my beautiful ugly voice every day, every like 5 days now, I'll be honest with you, because I barely do this whole YouTube thing. Don't worry, I won't change that. I have stuff to work on IRL, okay? But I'll be fine. Okay, guys, see you later.